Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's Lucas Torreira / Kante, whichever one you want to refer to me as. I'm just the best YouTuber at this, it's a fact. Cracking on. Now, we know it's an exciting time, if you can say excitement, because our optimism could be killed 5-10 games into the season. Hopefully that's not the case. But for many different reasons, we've spoken about it. I don't need to speak about it anymore. There's reasons for Arsenal fans specifically to be optimistic going into the new season more so than previous years, because for many different changes that have been implemented. But for me, of course, I'm happy that Unai Emery is here. I mean, he's shown his work ethic and things like that. He's shown the pressing thing. He's shown that we need to improve defensively, and he's trying to go about that. But what is going to be our centre-half pairing now? At least for the first game of the season. Now, it's important. We can't read too many conclusions into any partnerships, man, because we know we've got to play. We've got a lot of games. We've still got to play Chelsea in pre-season. We've still got Lazio. We've still got Atletico. And at this moment in time, we've still got PSG. So that's 4 games. We've got 5 centre-halves at the club. Some people are gonna get to put themselves in the shop window to start. Some people might even lose. Unai Emery might lose faith. So it's an interesting one. So between Mavropanos, Mustafi, Socrates, Callum Chambers, and I think Holding, I've counted all of them. 5 defenders, only 2 can play if we're being real. 3 if you want to force it with 3 at the back, which I'd actually go with against City, to be fair. 3/5 at the back, whatever you want to define it as. Now, if I was to go on my thinking, if without knowing anything, as objective as possible, I would actually go into the Manchester City game 3 at the back, to be honest with you. Socrates, a part of me is saying Socrates, Chambers, and maybe Mavropanos / Mustafi going into that, purely because I'll make a preview, but possibly I'm saying that is because if you go on the basis of the Bournemouth Wood game, which is our only pre-season that us fans have seen, versus I know we've played... was it Fleetwood Town? Apologies if I've got it wrong. Or Crawley Town. One of them, forgive me. I think it was Crawley. And we've played another one against Brentford. But, against City, I would go 3 at the back. Part of me wants to go 4-3-3, but part of me wants to go 3 at the back / play with fullbacks, purely because I want to congest the midfield. Clearly, Unai Emery is big on the central midfield. People that are there, not only do you have to be brave on the ball, you have to make runs. Not only do you have to be compact defensively, you have to make runs and pull the other opposition out of shape. And I do think if we combat the midfield and we not only focus on them, but focus on what we can do and what we've seen so far on the basis of the Bournemouth Wood game. You saw Emil Rowe-Smith making runs, Nelson making runs, Aubameyang and Lacazette changing up their play. There was a lot for a formation that looked like it was going to be very central based. Don't get me wrong, it was congested, but there was a lot of width and there was a lot of runs and a lot of creativity, and I do think that will give City players something to think about, especially in the first week. So yeah, obviously he clearly loves Holding now. I don't want to say loves, but he likes Holding. He's giving him a new deal, a new show of faith sort of thing. If we look at some of the training sessions or the footage that we've seen, it looks like Socrates and Chambers have been the centre-half partners in training. So maybe them two are the ones that are ahead of it at the moment. If we look at the Bournemouth Wood game, Mavropanos and Socrates started. Obviously, the Greek connection, one's young, one's old. There's many different varieties. You've seen how they could learn of each other and stuff. Now, maybe Unai Emery, that might be a legit... Either Socrates and Chambers or Mavropanos and Socrates could be his legit pairings. He might conclude that these centre-halves work better with each other. I don't know. He might just damn right be experimenting. But these could also be his choices. We can't rule out anything. Nothing's a fact. But yeah, man. Yeah, there's even a case of Chambers, Holding and Mustafi, or Mavropanos, Mustafi and Chambers, or something like that, or Socrates, Mustafi and something else, 3 at the back against City. So just as an example, so you get that there's a range of formations and ways we can use this. If we're being real, it's great that we have 5 centre halves. There was rumours of another one coming into the club that would make it 6, so one would probably have to stay. My thinking is, I still think we want a centre half, but we've probably given that one up. Maybe Mustafi or whoever that needs to be shipped to raise funds and things like that can't be moved on. So yeah, man, it will be interesting in the next couple of games to see how we shape up. If I'm any member of that back 5, I'd fancy my chances. You've all got a chance of cementing yourself, where's the notes? I even think Unai Emery's played up to that. I mean, obviously a lot of it's a bit quiet. Let me try and find it, people. Here it is. Unai Emery on formation. He was speaking about a range of stuff in Singapore, but he said we are working with 5 centre backs, and we are trying every match, every training session with these 5 players. I don't know who will play against Manchester City. You probably have that in mind. We are going to try tomorrow against Atletico and give an opportunity to the players. So that shows you someone that's either, I believe, he knows his best, he knows who he wants to go forward with, but he wants to see the qualities of others. or we can go on what he's just basically said at face value and say that he's legitimately trying to experiment, see who is about this, see who he could give could throw in, to be honest with you. If we look at his time at PSG, forgive me if I'm wrong, but there was a period he made a commitment and he actually came out and said that he wants to rotate all of his centre-halves, playing Kimbele and all of them lot. So maybe it's a thing where he's looking at it, and I would like this to a degree. It don't matter who you are in centre-half. Obviously, there's going to be a hierarchy in options and people are going to be better and lesser than others. But in the short of it, I think he's looking at a thing where it doesn't matter if you're a regular starter or rotation centre-half. Every one of you should be competent, consistent and good enough, and I should be able to have enough faith in you so that on the Saturday or Sunday or midweek whenever we play, it doesn't matter what pairing we put in, it's more or less, we're so good defensively and so competent, there's not really a difference. And if we look at Spurs, maybe not this year, but we know when they were doing a madness a couple of years ago, when they were doing a madness at home at White Hart Lane, I don't think they lost the home game, when they had it didn't matter who they played in the back in defence or in the back three. It didn't matter if it was Dyer, Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld, Danny Rose or Ben Davis, or even if Walker weren't there, because them man there knew their roles, they knew the job, and that's what I'm on. Obviously, we need to use our brains. Obviously, if people are playing more on a regular basis together or just downright playing, they're gonna know each other. They're gonna be more familiar with each other, and that might be the best pairing, and you do need that. I mean, you look at some of the best pairings in history, they've played consistently together. So while I get on one hand, and I agree with it, just looking on a squad basis, you want to look at all five centre-halves, just generally speaking, and know that, okay, it doesn't matter if it's Chambers, Holding, Mavropanos, Socrates or Mustafi. It doesn't matter if it's Manchester City or Man United or, no disrespect, Cheltenham Town in the FA Cup or something. We're going to see there's not going to be a significant drop-off in talent or just downright consistency defensively. My thinking on Mustafi as well is an interesting one, because if you're going about it on a basis of experience, we do, for all, as much as I love Mavropanos, Holding and Chambers, and I love what they're becoming and things, he dwarfs them for experience. I mean, the man's a World Cup winner, he's played in top leagues and things, regardless of what you think about him, to be fair. So experience, but I do think his career is in the balance at Arsenal, purely because I don't think Unai Emery rates you as much as Wenger appeared to rate you on the basis of that he played a lot. I mean, it was reported that Wenger didn't fancy you, but yeah, I don't think he rates Mustafi. I really think he's open to letting Mustafi go. I think a part of him wants to develop Mustafi and see where go on. Part of him wants him to go. And if he does stay, I don't think he's going to be a first team name on the team sheet, which, if I put myself in Mustafi's shoes, you should be trying to improve to do that. No disrespect, because if I look at, I'm now Mustafi, guys. I look to my left. All right, Socrates is fairly experienced, but he's not got the name I had possibly had, at least prior to Arsenal. He hasn't got the standing in football. I'm a World Cup winner and all these things. Obviously, I'm not dissing Socrates. I'm just making an example. Mavropanos, obviously, good defender, same as Holding, good defender. Chambers, good defender. One of them in Chambers has played for his country. But in regards to experience and footballing stature, you should be upset if them man there start ahead of you. And I would if I was him. I'd look at them like they're not better than me, and that would make me want to prove myself. Mustafi's career is in the balance here, because part of everybody can agree he has had a bit of form until I'd say the turn of the year, to be fair with you, when we all started playing poorly. Not that he was amazing. A part of you can see that with the aggression, with the somewhat leadership qualities and decent ball playing, if he just cuts out a bit of the naivety defensively, mainly getting tight and playing a high line despite not being fast, there's a centre half there. But by the same stretch, he's at the age where, if you're not, some of the things I see him do on a pitch at his age, he shouldn't be doing. And if you're still doing that, then there's not really any signs. I'll give you an example. The cup final in February, when he's just holding up his hand, for one, against Sergio Aguero. For one, I think a ball came over the top and he's level with Sergio Aguero. Now, Aguero's not the quickest, but neither are you, Mustafi. Drop off a couple yards. Why are you trying to play a high line with someone that is skilled with being on the last shoulder, and sometimes you don't see Sergio Aguero, Sergio Aguero, his name, Kun Aguero, until it's too late. You saw him get tight, try to play for the foul, rather than try and recover, even if you don't make it, just try and recover. He's holding up his hand. This is a big cup final and you're putting up your hand for offside. Naivety. You can't be a World Cup winner, playing for Valencia, playing in all them top leagues and stuff, and still moving like that. So if I'm Unai Emery, I'm looking at it like, I'll give you a chance, I'll try and prove you, but I'm trying to listen to offers for you as well, bro. The only thing that probably keeps you around is experience, because as much as I love, again, the three young centre-halves we have at this club, we're looking for consistency from them. Even if we look at Mavropanos, amazing versus United, then he got sent off for naive stuff the next week. Holding, we've seen good games from Holding, but we also know he's very naive defensively. I think Chambers had a good season last year, but he's still got things. So if we're to a degree, I believe in all of them. But if you were to ask me, 38 games. In fact, it goes for all of them. 38 games. Assuming 38 games, and the extended cup competitions. Assuming people, that we get further. If you're asking me if I look at them 5 defenders and I have complete faith in them, I'd say no. I'd have faith in their ability to turn up. I'll have the courage to play them. I think they would play well, but it would rub me up the wrong way if I'm in August or whatever and I'm looking at my centre-half options and the only thing that I'm looking to give Mustafi is experience over them. And then you've got Socrates, who we hope is going to be competent and consistent, and he might not be the name we wanted, but it's about competency and consistency, so we can't really get at him. If I'm honest, just on a general note, centre-half, I am happy with our options, generally speaking, but you would if there was money, if I could bring in a winger and a couple others, I would be looking at bringing in a quality centre-half. I'm keen to see I do think one of them might leave. I mean, 5 centre-halves, you probably need 5 centre-halves if you're going to variate 3 at the back, 5 at the back, depending on how you look at it, and a conventional 4 at the back, 2 centre-halves. There's a lot of options, and they all have different qualities. And obviously, I think people underestimate the need for pairing. Some of these centre halves might be better with each other. Some might be worse with each other. Some might complement each other. Like for instance, Socrates and Mustafi. Again, Socrates does dive in and things like that, but he's slightly more of a calmer head than Mustafi. So maybe Socrates, for instance, could have the competency and the intelligence to know, okay, let me kind of tone my game down a bit or stop being the guy getting tight and stuff and let Mustafi kind of do that. Or maybe if Mustafi's working with Mavropanos, he stops being naive. He thinks, okay, I'm the most experienced of these centre halves here. Let him press. Let me be the one that organises. Let me be the last man sort of thing. These are the sort of things we want to see. 3 at the back. There might be some 3s that work better with each other. Like off the top of my head, purely because they play together and they've got little bromance. Holding and Chambers are probably very good together. But if you look at Mavropanos and Chambers at United away, they played quite good together. So it'll be interesting to see how we line up. If it was on the basis of experience at this moment in time, I would go Socrates and Mustafi against Manchester City. But now, equally, I'd like to go 3 at the back with... who would I play in the 3? I'd play Chambers at this moment in time. Again, we still got many games to play, but I'd probably play Chambers, Socrates and Mustafi, to be fair with you. Or something along them lines, purely because I'm looking experience, and they've got a lot of street smart players in City. And for as much as I love these young players, and it is a baptism of fire, not just for them, but for Unai Emery to start his career. You kind of get my thinking. But by that same logic, Mustafi, I kind of sound like a hypocrite because Mustafi's incredibly naive. You've seen him get that tight. You've seen him be holding his face when we should be defending. I've got a lot of time for Mustafi, and I actually want him to be a success here. But I mean, I want my club to be a success even more, and I'm really tired of players that need an arm around them, players that they're good at this, they've got unrealised potential, we just need to teach them this. If they stopped doing this, they would excel. I'm tired of these sort of players at my club. I don't want necessarily finished articles, but I want man that if it's sink or swim, guys are swimming, no one's drowning and calling the lifeguard and that. Yeah, man. Guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe and do the rest. Thank you for watching. I'm out.